The following is a presentation of the Big East Conference Television Network. Georgetown's Reggie Williams, the last link to the Hoyas national championship team, leads Georgetown in scoring and rebounding and has played all 5 positions on the floor for John Thompson's Georgetown club. Second-year coach Rick Pitino at Providence College has taken the Friars from the bottom to near the top of the heap, and they've done it with a 3-point field goal. Billy Donovan won the best at that art this season, leading the Friars in scoring tonight at Georgetown in Providence. Tonight, the Hoyas of Georgetown meet the Friars of Providence College. Big East basketball is brought to you by Piedmont, serving more cities in the East than any other airline. By Chrysler Motors, the official car and truck of the Big East, and your local Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers. By Avis Rent-A-Car, the official rental car of the Big East Conference.
Providence College basketball is brought to you by Narragansett Electric, putting your needs first. Winter, distributor of the finest doors, windows, and moldings in the Northeast. And Carpet Giant, with locations in Seekonk, Warwick, and New London, Connecticut.
The Providence Civic Center holds 12,500. It will be SRO tonight as Providence meets Georgetown. They hold some rock concerts in this building, but nothing will be more of a rock and roll affair than tonight's game between the Friars and the Hoyas. Good evening, everybody. I'm Howard David, along with Dave Gavitt. Not since the mid-'70s, when Dave Gavitt coached here, has there been a game that has drawn this much attention in Providence.
There have been games that have drawn as many people, but I think not the enthusiasm. And when you saw the students file in here at 6 o'clock tonight with their faces all painted, I think you see that Pitino has lit a fire into this community. The team comes in 14-3, tied for second with Georgetown, and this place is alive.
We're seeing 2 teams tonight that have similarities and, yes, some dissimilarities as well.
Well, I think the similarities are obvious. Both coaches play a lot of people. They'll lead with 11 or 10 guys from each team, a lot of bench scoring, a lot of pressure defense, a lot of changing, a lot of fast breaks, a lot of three-pointers. The dissimilarities are that Providence, if you can shut off the three-pointer, has had trouble scoring inside. Georgetown takes you to the offensive board.
With the amount of people that each team plays, obviously they are among the best in the nation in bench scoring. Georgetown number 1, Providence number 2.
And I think that both coaches, Thompson really set the standard for this years ago. Pitino believes in it as well. They develop their benches by playing people. And you play them in December and they make the mistakes. But now all of a sudden, when you're 17 games into the season, freshmen are no longer freshmen.
Once upon a time, Providence, one of the doormats of the Big East. That is no longer the case, and it is further punctuated since Ricky Pitino's come aboard.
Well, I think he's given this team a lot of confidence, and he's got the people, the student body, believing in him. This is not an easy place to come and play anymore, but Georgetown goes on the road and plays before big crowds all the time.
Put your seatbelts on. This is going to be a wild one. Providence and Georgetown coming up next. Well, the introduction of the starting lineups in just a moment.
This may sound funny coming from the president of an electric company, but I don't like getting bigger electric bills in the winter any more than you do. So we did something about it. We created the Narragansett Electric Budget Billing Plan. Under the plan, your total average yearly electric bill is divided into equal monthly payments. Even during the months you use more electricity, your payment stays the same. So if you like electric bills, without any surprises, call us to sign up for budget billing.
I just love your new home.
Thank you.
Your windows are beautiful.
They're the very latest. Peachtree's aerial insulated windows.
These are real wood. Ours are those awful loose snap-in grills.
Here's the best part. This entire wood section lifts up.
Look at that.
So the window is easier to stain, paint, and clean.
And you can paint this window shut.
Peachtree designed aerial to open and shut easily.
For your nearest Peachtree retailer, call 1-800-447-4700. career education. One of your most important decisions. Did you know that New England Tech is the #1 choice, the most respected name in private career education? Here's why.
The faculty and courses are great.
The new campus and lab equipment are state-of-the-art.
Leading employers hire New England Tech grads.
New England Tech, the most respected name in private career education. Be a New England Tech graduate or compete with one.
Carpet Giant has so many ways to beautify your floor. It's a carpet supermarket. It's really quite a store. So roll them out and put them down at the lowest price around. At Carpet Giant, you get the very best going down.
Save 20 to 50% all this week at all Carpet Giants during the annual after inventory carpet clearance. Don't miss it.
Back at the Providence Civic Center, Howard, David, and Dave Gavitt. We spoke at the top about the crowd of 12,500 or more, Dave. What effect, if anything, will there be, or what effect will it have on Georgetown?
Well, I think it tends to pump up the home team. It has varying effects on the visitors. In my opinion, on Georgetown, very little. They play on the road all the time. They play before tough crowds. And I have a feeling that John Thompson, because he's very popular in this city, went to school here, he steels himself for this visit. He'll be ready.
All right, let's go to the public address announcer for the introduction to the starting lineups, and here's Ray Bagley.
Here are your starting lineups. Starting at forward for Georgetown, 6'4" junior from New Orleans, Louisiana, number 10, Perry McDonald. At forward for Providence College, 6'7" senior from Kitchener, Ontario, number 15, David Kipfer. At forward for Georgetown, 6'7" senior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 34, Reggie Williams. At forward for Providence College, 6'7" senior from Germantown, Pennsylvania, number 23, Ernie Pop Lewis. At center for Georgetown, 7' junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 51, Ben Guillory. At center for Providence College, a 6'10" senior from Central Falls, Rhode Island, number 50, Yazik Duda. At guard for Georgetown, 6'2" freshman from New Orleans, Louisiana, number 12, Dwayne Bryan. At guard for Providence, 6'4" junior from Michigan City, Indiana, number 12, Delray Brooks. At guard for Georgetown, 6'2" freshman from Washington, D.C., number 20, Mark Tillman. At guard for Providence College, a 6' senior from Rockville Center, Long Island, number 34, Billy Donovan. The head coach of the Hoyers, John Thompson. The head coach of the Friars, Rick Pitino.
Well, as one of the great race callers of all time, Fred Capicella, once said, it is now post time. The pregame hoopla is over. Get ready. Georgetown and Providence coming up. The Providence Civic Center expected and should be sold out by the time we get early on in the first half. Here are the comparisons of the two teams. Georgetown, one of the poorest shooting teams in the Big East, shooting only 46% from the floor. So is Providence also the same, but look at the three-point accuracy for the two teams, Dave.
Well, both are not afraid to shoot three-pointers. For Providence, they've got Billy Donovan, Delray Brooks, and Ernie Pop Lewis. All three can fire and hit. And for Georgetown, of course, Reggie Williams, along with Mark Tillman, two guys you've got to keep your eye on from three-point field goal range.
You would expect, as you look at Ben Guillory, who's standing on the left, Guillory number 51, in the last few games, what John Thompson has done is use Guillory in the opening tip and then bring Ronnie Highsmith into the ball game. So we'll see what he does here. Yazik Duda to jump center with Guillory. And the tap is controlled by Georgetown and Reggie Williams. The quick pass on the right side to Tillman. The shot is blocked over the top by Lewis, but he got a piece of the body. Mickey Crowley makes the call on Ernie Pop Lewis.
Both teams will transition basketball anytime they get an opportunity. You saw Reggie Williams there with an excellent lead pass off the tap up ahead to Tillman, and this is the first.
Mark Tillman, a 51% free throw shooter, averaging 10.5 points per ball game. The freshman from Washington had 19 against DePaul in the win over previously unbeaten Blue Demons.
Here comes the press from Georgetown. Full court zone up on the ball. Providence will try to get through this and take the three-pointer if they have it.
Delray Brooks right to the basket, and he gets the roll over the rim. Brooks, the transfer from Indiana.
Now Providence answering with their press.
They break the pressure. It is now Tillman going one-on-one with Dudek. Dudek slaps the ball away from him. Loose on the floor, and Billy Donovan comes up with it. Kipfer and Lewis. Back to Kipfer for the short jumper. He's got it. Providence off to a 4-1 start. Don't expect Georgetown to be rattled. They have faced pressure. Even as freshmen, they have faced it. Guillory with the jam. That will quiet the crowd. The lead the other way. Lewis gets fouled from behind by Guillory, but Lewis really wanted the stuff.
Well, both these teams do an excellent job, Howard, because they're so used to running and pressing themselves. When they score, when you're scored against, they'll get it out of bounds and get it right up the court, and that's exactly what happened here. Donovan found Pop Lewis ahead of the field. He's quicker than Guillory, who plays the back of the Georgetown press, and he had trouble recovering.
Ernie Pop Lewis, an 84% free throw shooter, averaging 11 points per ball game.
Coming off a very big game at Connecticut, a game that Providence did not play particularly well. Donovan and Brooks, who are the guts of their offense, had cold days, and Pop Lewis bailed them out.
Lewis 2 for 2 from the line. Providence showing all court pressure.
This was important in Patino's game plan to start well. Keep the crowd excited, keep them into the game.
Perry McDonald now works it around to Bryant. Now Williams. Williams gets the double team. Perry McDonald inside of the turnaround. Dudek had the rebound on the floor. We're going to get the release to Delray Brooks and to Billy Donovan. Left side to Lewis. Providence was out here until 5:15 tonight, still going through a walkthrough. Here's the turnover created by Reggie Williams. Tillman stripped away by Billy Donovan, but a foul on the play.
I don't think so. Yeah, okay. Lead official Mickey Crowley. The officials are Crowley, Jim Howell, Jack Hannon. You'll see the replay. Here's the Georgetown freshman guard tandem, Dwayne Bryant, very quietly becoming one of the top assist men in the league, and he hits Mark Tillman ahead of the field.
You got a glimpse of the two principals, Thompson and Patino, and Billy Donovan, his first foul. Tillman to the line, 2 shots.
You've got to be impressed with the play of these two freshman guards for Georgetown. Thompson has had them in the ballgame in crunch time. Sunday against DePaul, they knock off the Blue Demons, send them from the ranks of the unbeaten. They're down 8, down the wire. The two guards are 2 freshmen, Dwayne Bryant and Mark Tillman.
Tillman 3 for 4 from the line. It is a 6-5 Providence lead. We've played a minute and a half. Providence Civic Center is where you are. Howard David and Dave Gavitt bringing you this telecast tonight. Pop Lewis from 3-point range.
For those fans in Washington that have not seen Providence play before, don't be surprised to see that three-pointer go up any time. The last 2 games, they've attempted 31 three-pointers in each ballgame.
Inside it goes to McDonald. Finds Tillman on the outside. Reggie Williams, 3-point range. He's not shy to take that either. And a foul is going to be called. I think it's on Pop Lewis. If it is, that would be his second.
Howard, candidly, Providence fouls a lot. And Patino, he's not teaching them to foul, but he wants them to play aggressively. And so he doesn't get on people for fouls as long as they're aggressive performances to try to get the ball. Nice backdoor.
Good cut. Bryant with the jumper off the Williams pass. Dwayne Bryant, his first field goal of the night. We are 9-7 Providence in front. Donovan, leading scorer, finds Delray Brooks, 3-pointer. It is Brooks and Donovan, the dynamic duo as they are billed here. Last touched, I believe, by Reggie Williams. Good call by the official, Jim Howell. Right on top of the play. It looked to me, right in front of us, that Williams touched it last.
Credit Delray Brooks for the good defensive job.
Providence 14-3, 4-2 in the Big East. Georgetown 14-2 and 4-2 in the Big East. And right in front of us, a foul is going to be called on Mark Tillman, the freshman.
You almost ended up with David Kipfer in your lap on that one.
It's a lot of lap, too. 6'7" over here. Dave Kipfer from Ontario. Nickname is the blue collar, primarily for his work ethic.
Well, he goes at the offensive board, picks up all the loose garbage. A concern for the Friars tonight, Georgetown's quickness inside. Georgetown's not a real big team, but they're a real quick team.
Amazing thing is, as poor as Georgetown shoots from the outside, their record. Tremendous offensive rebounding by the Hoyas. Kipper with a good board inside. Ball was tipped in, I thought, in the cylinder.
I think the net was touched by Duda while the ball was over the ring. It should have been waved off if we're right.
So the field goal by Kipfer, his second for 4, and a foul against Delray Brooks. And meanwhile, on the floor, as you see, Dwayne Bryant, slow getting up, but he's all right.
And he's okay. This play ended up with, you see, Brooks did not have position. You think there's a little intensity there? There's 3 people.
John Thompson was walking out onto the floor, and the crowd gave him a hefty round of boos. And John, who played up here at Providence College, now is the nasty visitor instead of the home player. Meanwhile, Bryant is hurt.
See Laurie Michael, the Georgetown trainer. Looks like he got a good bang on the knee. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Bobby Winston's in the game now at the guard. Here he is, number 4. Also Ronnie Highsmith in the pivot.
Statute of limitations has run out both on Thompson and me locally, you know. when the refs call fouls against Providence, people get mad at me, and John is the enemy now when he comes to town.
Reggie Williams. Oh, beautiful. Kisses it off the glass, and a foul is called.
Let me say something about Reggie Williams. You know, he leads Georgetown in just about every single category. For me, the word All-American candidate, you can eliminate the candidate. This guy's like, you know, the comfortable old shoe in your closet. He's been around so long. But gone now are Michael Jackson and David Wingate, Ralph Dalton, Horace Broadnax. And now he's the senior leadership, and he does everything for this team. Incredible.
Here he comes up with a steal, and a foul is going to be called. There have been some substitutions made, and we'll run them down as you look at Billy Donovan. I believe it was Billy that got called for the foul. Substitutions in the ball game. If it is on Billy, that is his second, and it is.
Well, there's Reggie with the steal, and he gets fouled here before he goes up for the shot, so the Hoyas will inbound underneath.
Marty Conlon's in the game for Providence. Steve Wright, Carlton Screen. Georgetown with Bobby Winston, as you see him handling the ball here.
Providence in a matchup zone, but they play it very aggressively. And Steve Villanova played this defense a lot, but the Friars will extend it, Howard, and try to keep constant pressure on the ball. Georgetown would like to find Reggie Williams corners and baseline.
3-point try. Off the mark, the rebound to Ernie Lewis. Here comes Donovan looking diagonally to the left corner. They worked on that in practice today. Here's Screen in the lane. Nice dish to Conlon. And a foul is going to be called. Pretty pass by Carlton Screen inside to Marty Conlon.
Carlton Screen started off the season hurt, couldn't play for the beginning of the year, as Delray Brooks was not able to play, the transfer from Indiana. When those 2 players became available to Rick Pitino on December 20th, this team started to take on a whole different look because it started to give Billy Donovan a little rest.
Jaron Jackson, the sophomore from New Orleans, comes into the ball game for Georgetown. Conlon to the line for 2. Marty Conlon, a good passer, who's on the All-New York City squad with his teammates, Shamsuddin and Carlton Screen both.
If you're a Providence fan or a Georgetown fan, you've got to like all the freshmen that are playing in this game and playing well.
A lot of people, we expected to see it, and it has been as advertised. 16-9 Providence with 15:46 remaining. We'll come right back. This copyrighted telecast is produced by authority of the Big East Conference and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Big East Conference is prohibited. Howard David, along with Dave Gavitt at the Providence Civic Center, where John Thompson's Hoyas meeting up with Rick Pitino's Friars in a key game in the Big East. Each team 4-2 in the conference. They trail Syracuse by a game and a half.
I think each team has really been able to establish what they want to do early here. with the exception that Georgetown has not really been able to capitalize on the offensive board as much as they like to. There's some double team pressure on Williams.
And the steal created by Screen. Donovan back to Screen with the floater. Carlton Screen has made his presence felt early on. Georgetown trailing Providence by 9. It's Georgetown's ball on the inbounds. John Thompson has taken the Hoyas to 8 straight NC2A tournaments. And he will be the U.S. Olympic coach in 1988. Pop Lewis commits the 3rd foul on Lewis. He's going to have to sit down, and Pitino's going to have to make a substitution.
Most likely Darrell Wright, sophomore. Good athletic kid whose playing time, quite honestly, has been cut down by the fact that Lewis is playing so well.
So Pop Lewis is going to sit down early. He got 3 fouls in 4 minutes and 34 seconds. Pitino's over there telling him, you know, what good are you to me on the bench? Jaron Jackson to the free throw line. Would you believe they're already in the bonus? Donovan gets the rebound in the middle of the lane. Somebody's got to box out.
Well, keep in mind that erratic free throw shooting's, you know, not unusual for the Hoyas either. And they're going to get a lot of chances tonight. Providence over the limit. We have 15 minutes left to go in the first half.
Screen has confidence. A freshman from Brooklyn Xaverian High School. It's a 20-9 Providence lead, and the Hoya Bobby Winston. And now John Thompson has told his players, let's call timeout. We have to regroup, gentlemen, because it is not working. But don't you know that the man has had so much experience in hostile buildings to get his team settled down a little bit.
Well, for Providence, the start couldn't be better.
Tomorrow's another game. Read all about it in the Providence Journal Bulletin.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's gonna give you a square deal. The square deal. A whole lot of food for a real low price. Just $1.99. Square deal. Come in now and get 2 tender, juicy pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken. But that's not all. Square deal. Our square deal also gives you hot mashed potatoes with gravy and a fresh buttermilk biscuit. Square deal. So come in now for our square deal. A whole lot of food for just $1.99. We do chicken right.
The Friars of Providence leading 20-9. Just how good is this Providence start?
Well, if they keep it up at this pace, they're going to score 160 points in the game. That tells you how good it is.
Here's the turnover story. Thus far, Georgetown has turned it over 4 times. Providence twice.
Georgetown's hurt themselves at the line. They've missed some free throws that would have made this margin a little less. Now you see the Hoyas come with pressure, and they're going to make somebody other than Billy Donovan handle the ball if they can.
Billy Donovan breaks the pressure. This is Kipfer now right. Carlton screen. Donovan 3-point land. Ball's still alive. And it is Reggie Williams who comes up with it. The quick outlet to Bobby Winston in transition.
You know, one thing about these two teams, too, they are in unbelievable shape. Both these ball clubs can run and run forever.
You have to be to play with either one of these squads right now. I don't think we'll see the shot clock expire anytime soon with 25 on the shot clock remaining. Inside to Ronnie Highsmith. This is Tillman, now Winston. And as I mentioned about the shot clock, it is now down to 15. Tillman got Kipfer airborne. It's short. Last touched by Providence. It'll be Georgetown ball as Mark Bryant, or Dwayne Bryant rather, checks back into the ball game. And a look at Rick Pitino in his second year. Bobby Winston sits down for Georgetown.
The Hoyas need to try to find Reggie Williams. Providence certainly keen this matchup aggressive zone on Reggie, trying to keep in touch with him on the baseline.
Barry McDonald kisses it off the glass.
Tough inside, real tough inside, 6'4". He's got all the moves.
At 6'4", he gets up with the guys that are 5 inches bigger. Donovan has it poked away from behind by Tillman. Highsmith almost violated the half-court line there.
He was lucky that McDonald was running hard. He had no one to pass to in the front court.
McDonald wants to work it inside. This is Dwayne Bryant with the pop. Basket counts, and a foul is called. What a pretty move. Steve Wright commits the foul on Bryant as Jacek Duda comes into the game.
Well, that was quite a move by Dwayne Bryant. He not only made the penetration, but he got hit as he went up. You'll see it here, and yet he had enough balance to still get the shot up soft, and has an opportunity here for the three-point play that could bring the Hoyas back to 6.
Bryant makes the conventional three-point play. For Dwayne Bryant, he has 5 points in the ball game, and the Hoyas have now run off 5 unanswered points.
One of the interesting coaching decisions that you've got if you're Patino and Thompson in this game is you like to press. Brooks from the corner misses.
Got a foul inside. Jackie Hannon making the call, and I think the foul's going to go against Georgetown.
Against Highsmith, I think. But just to finish that thought, you know, one of the things, if people attack your pressure to score, sometimes you might think twice about it. Both these teams just attack. They don't know anything else. Get it through and get it up the court in an outnumbered situation. They take the jump shot and they take it to the glass. Jonathan Edwards in for Highsmith.
Highsmith his second foul, and Jonathan Edwards, who suffered with that bad back throughout the month of December, has only played about, what, the last 4. Kipper wants to work it inside. Darrell Wright, 2-point field goal try is no good. Ball bounced off McDonald's head as Duda came down with it.
And that's the quick hands again of McDonald, giving away 5 inches but bats it away.
Dwayne Bryant and Mark Tillman, the freshman guards for Georgetown. Perry McDonald. Here's Bryant in the corner. Boy, Georgetown moves so well without the ball. A lot of movement.
Providence defense doing a good job moving with him to this point. There's the foul.
If that is a foul on Billy Donovan. Well, no, it's Delray Brooks who gets called for the personal. For Delray Brooks, that is his first. Billy Donovan already has 2, and they cannot afford to have Donovan on the bench.
Pop Lewis has 3.
Delray Brooks, the transfer from Indiana. Passed up North Carolina State to come to Providence College. I guess they were interested in him down there with Jimmy Valvano at his club.
I asked Delray during warm-ups tonight whether someone had tipped him off that the three-point field goal was coming in, because it's been a real boost to him in his game in the Providence system that Patino employs, the wide-open transition game, and Delray thrives. 34 points at Villanova in a big 18-point Providence win on the road a couple weeks ago.
McDonald misses both free throws poorly, and Delray Brooks now bringing it across the timeline.
Georgetown had made its free throws, Howard. This game was tied.
Meanwhile, it is a 6-point lead for Providence with 12.5 to play in the first half.
Okay, here's the Hoyer in their point matchup zone for the first time. They've got to keep in touch with Donovan on the top.
Kipfer, the short jumper, gets the roll. David Kipfer, 3 field goals for 6. And it's an 8-point lead for Providence. They led by as many as 11. Georgetown pushes it up the floor in a hurry. Ball poked from behind by Delray Brooks, creating the turnover. Brooks had Kipfer inside and did not get it to him quick enough.
Well, when they come up to the transition like that, you watch. They'll look for the 2 big guys inside, and the three-point shooters will be fanned out on the line.
Kipfer has it rejected by Edwards, and we're going to get a foul called on Kipfer as he submarined Perry McDonald. For Dave Kipfer, that is his first, and Providence their 5th team foul.
Here's the replay here. Perry McDonald beats Kipfer to the ball. Want to talk about effort? Wow. Interestingly, when Patino was hired at his first press conference, he said, I don't know how good we're going to be or how quick we can get things going, but we're going to lead the league in diving for loose balls and jumping over the scoring table and being into the press row. And he's been true to his word.
Perry McDonald, the 2-time junior Olympic Golden Gloves champion. Did a great job when Georgetown played St. John's down in Landover. The job that McDonald did, he took everybody in the lane with him, and nobody could stop him. Makes both free throws this time, which is a better display than his last time down when he missed them both. And brings Georgetown within 6. Donovan, 3-point range. And the rebound of Mark Tillman. try to work it inside, and it is Darrell Wright who comes up with a loose ball for the Friars. Donovan has missed his first three-point tries, but he'll keep putting it up. One of the coaches in the Big East, I believe it was Jim Calhoun, said a lot of teams come down and use the three-pointer every now and again. Providence comes down and it's part of their offense. It's part of their routine. Good backdoor inside to Duda. Jacek Duda with the bucket, his first. It's an 8-point lead, and right back comes Tillman for Georgetown. Answers him back.
Tough move. He had both Donovan and Brooks tracking him from behind. Here's Providence right back the other way.
Foul is going to be called on Jonathan Edwards, but if he doesn't foul, Dave Kipper going to the hoop. It's an easy deuce. Good foul by Jonathan Edwards.
Well, that's again that situation where both these teams do such a good job pushing the ball back up the court after you've scored against them. You know, you can play transition basketball off steals and rebounds, but when you play transition basketball after you've been scored against, then you're playing transition basketball.
Kipper to the line for two. Donovan sits down, and Carlton screen back in the game in the Providence backcourt. Kipper with 7 points. Boy, don't you know, just look at him, you know he's already worked very hard. Georgetown makes you work hard.
Well, I've had a theory that since day one in the Big East Conference that people have played up to Georgetown's level of intensity. And I really believe that. I think that Thompson has set the standard for how intensely you have to play.
How about that fast break? Everybody playing over the cylinder. It is Jonathan Edwards who gets the basket, and a foul is called.
Well, that was awful close to being basket interference again, I think, on the first one. But there's such quickness and such jumping ability. This is an excellent pass. Now there goes McDonald. No, good call. It was not.
Look at a strong rebound by Jonathan Edwards. He gets fouled by Darrell Wright. He'll go to the line with a chance for a conventional three-point play.
And this is where the Hoyas have hurt so many teams this year on that offensive board. St. John's really one of the better defensive rebounding teams in the country, and Georgetown just took it to him that night in the Cap Center.
Jonathan Edwards, like Georgetown, not a very good free throw shooter. He's missed all 4 free throws he's taken this year.
Oh,
great save. Bobby Winston, big-time play. Bryant, pass taken away by Delray Brooks. And you're going to see a lot of this all night. A lot of bodies flying all over the place.
It's such a hard game to referee when it's 94 feet and up and down. There's so many plays, you know.
Georgetown coming off the big win over DePaul to stop their unbeaten streak this year. Reggie Williams, a little short, gets his own rebound. A lot of players in college basketball today don't do enough of that. Follow their shot.
Well, I'm not sure if there's anything that Reggie Williams doesn't do. You know, just take a look at Providence has done a pretty good job of pointing on Reggie. He hasn't had a lot of shooting opportunities. But as you say, here he hits front rim. He follows his own shot, gets it back, and gets fouled by Duda there. He's played point guard. He's played center. He's played forward. He hit the three-pointer to get him out of the hole against DePaul on Sunday. He's the release man against the Providence press. Calls the defensive changes. Terrific player. It's going to be, I think, a great second guard, number 2 guard in the NBA.
Reggie, an 83% free throw shooter. Charles Smith in the game, the sophomore from Washington, D.C. He was a late recruit for John Thompson. Reggie makes 1 of 2 from the line. Williams with only 3 points thus far. Georgetown trailing Providence, as you see, by 5. Billy Donovan back in the game.
Smith will try to dog Donovan and work him and try to get him a little leg weary if he can. Smith's got quick feet.
Donovan, 3-point try. Jonathan Edwards with the rebound and the quick outlet to Charles Smith. Nice pass to Reggie Williams. Reggie gets the ball. He knows what to do with it. That one goes. The crowd wanted a walk, and they're going to call a timeout. Providence will. Patino, once upon a time, had an 11-point lead. His lead is now reduced to 3. The score, Providence 26, Georgetown 23 now. We'll come back after these words from your local station. Halftime of our telecast tonight, we'll have a focus of Providence's Billy Donovan. A look around the Big East and a first-half recap. In the last 5 minutes and 26 seconds, Georgetown has outscored Providence 14-6.
The Georgetown defense has taken its effect. They're starting to get back, not letting Providence beat them up the court. But on the other hand, Donovan has had some three-point opportunities, and he normally would stick those right in the bottom. One of the top three-point field goal percentage shooters in the country.
Tillman and Screen going nose to nose. Donovan, Darrell Wright. Screen inside to Kipper. The backdoor cut to Donovan. Great anticipation by Charles Smith. Here comes Winston. And he went right over the top. Should be an offensive foul.
Block.
They're going to call it a block. No, it's a charge on Winston.
Charge, you're right.
He just put his head down and went right into Screen. Screen took the charge.
Now you see it here. This is really a nice move by Donovan and a great recovery by Charles Smith. There was a set play on a back door. And at the other end, Carlton Screen with a good job getting the charge.
And Screen here draws the blocking foul on Mark Tillman. That is his second foul.
Flips Georgetown over the limit, so Friars will be 1-1 the rest of the way now.
So Carlton Screen will go to the line 1-1 as you get a look at Mark Tillman. Carlton Screen had a bit of a stress fracture, and they gave him, as you look at Jaren Jackson back in the ball game, they thought they would use the technique of putting him into a swimming pool to help heal him. There's only one problem. Carlton can't swim. He told them that.
He gets the role. He can play basketball, I'll tell you that. He's been a real addition to this team. When he's in the ball game, he handles the ball, and that lets Billy Donovan operate off the ball.
Going out of the game, Yasik Duda and Abdul Shamsuddin comes out of the game. He, along with this man, Carlton Screen, all New York City players.
Friars have another good-looking young freshman, Marty Conlon from New York as well at 6'10", who was in earlier. Good recruiting class for Pitino in his first year.
Bobby Winston rejected by Dean, and the foul's going to be called on Abdul Shamsuddin. His name once upon a time was Jeffrey Smith, and then his mother and father became Muslims and changed his name. Ricky Pitino, his name has been the same his whole life, and he's been a terror both on the court and on the sidelines.
Well, I can't help but think as I look at Pitino and Thompson, the two personify one of the great things that you have to be a success in college basketball coaching today. Unbelievable work ethic, and they spend a lot of time with the kids on their team. The respect level is obviously there. Their kids graduate. They do the job. They do the whole job, the total program, both of them.
Winston cans both free throws. Brings the Hoyas within 2. Once upon a time, Providence enjoyed an 11-point lead, but you knew that Georgetown was not going to let it stay that way anytime soon. They're just a tremendous team to come back. They did it against DePaul. They were down 9 with 2:44 to go and won the ball game. Kipper looking for the open man Screen, who wants to go inside with the floater, and he gets the roll. Carlton Screen with 7 points. He came in averaging about 5 a game.
No one told him he was a freshman yet.
Nice pass. Pretty pass.
Oh, that's
Smith
great.
into Winston.
Great pass and an excellent move without the ball by Bobby Winston.
Thompson is loaded at guard. There's a lot of people that can play. He's loaded, period. His team is just very deep, very young. Both teams the same.
Well, John recruits athletes, and it shows. 6'4" to 6'7". A lot of guys that can move their feet, can run, and can do things. And he gets them to play as a team, gets them to play defense, and gets them to play with pride.
Donovan. The alley-oop inside to Kipper. Ball is still alive. Dean with the left hand. Coming out of it is Jaren Jackson ahead to Williams. They run the fast break to Charles Smith. And he slows it up, smartly slows it up.
Good decision. Good job by Providence getting back.
Coming into the game is Marty Conlon. Ball was kicked. So Conlon checks back in. Kipper goes to the sidelines.
You know, you want to say new 45, but doesn't make any difference, does it? Nobody's going to get even close to the 45-second shot clock in this one.
Sam Jefferson checks in, number 50, and Jonathan Edwards comes out. So with Jefferson, Edwards, and Guillory, you almost like have a three-headed center. You have 15 fouls to give.
I think John has now played the 11 guys that he likes to play, and Patino's played the 10 that he likes to play. So they both hit their normal quota. 21 guys have seen action in the first half.
Thompson has used 11 different people as starters this year out of the 13 that are suited up each night.
The thing I like about both of them is they have the courage to do it early. When obviously, as you see Smith hit it, when obviously there's some kids that aren't quite ready yet, you take the mistakes early, because the only way you can improve is to play.
Georgetown has tied it up at 29 with 7:05 remaining. First half. Duda lost control, going down with it his right, and a traveling violation on number 41, Darrell Wright.
Well, that's the rule interpretation. People wonder about that call, but the rule says if you're on the floor and you get up and in the doing your pivot foot changes, it's a travel. Conversely, if you're down and if you fall down with the ball and you change your pivot foot. Now here you see Providence fans want to foul. You see, pick the foot up.
Yep, his right foot came up last. It's going to be Georgetown's ball. Delray Brooks is back into the ball game.
This is a tough place to get it in now because he can't run the baseline against the press.
Jaron Jackson and Bobby Winston with Charles Smith. Georgetown going with a small lineup. Winston misses the shot, and Conlon tracks it down. The give to Donovan. Notice Billy Donovan always looking diagonally to his left side when he's coming down from the right. Delray Brooks had Winston in the air but refused to shoot.
Winston did a great recovery job there. Delray had the three-point stroke.
Conlon with room. They don't want Conlon shooting that kind of a shot, and Georgetown now has got it in sync. They can take the lead. And you go to the boss, and he almost brings it in. Darrell Wright with the rebound, the outlet to Donovan. Racehorse basketball, very exciting.
You better play defense when you play these folks, either one of them, and you better get back on defense. Look for Donovan now. He's going to try to get a little weak side help here, I think, on this three-pointer. Watch him go through to the other corner. And the Hoyas make a good adjustment. Reggie goes right with him in the back.
Delray Brooks.
That's the problem. The defense overshifts to cover Donovan in the right corner, and Delray Brooks hits you from the left top.
The ball had to be wet when it came down. Providence leading by 3. It's like part of the repertoire. Providence, 29% of their field goal tries this year have been three-pointers. Great steal by Brooks.
And over 30% of their points, I think close to 40% of their points have come off three-pointers.
Providence ranks second in the nation in three-point tries per game, and that one goes down. Delray Brooks is second in a row.
That was off a nice setup. Patino brought Duda out high to set a screen for Donovan. He faked off and went the other way. When Georgetown helped, he slid it to Brooks in the corner.
6 unanswered points, both three-point field goals by Delray Brooks.
John's doing a very interesting thing right now. He's gone 4 corners. You say, how the heck can you go 4 corners when you're behind? Because he wants to try to get Providence extended out and get the ball in behind. He did it right there.
Jaron Jackson, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Jacek Duda of Providence.
And Rick Pitino frantically getting Donovan and Brooks over the bench. He's trying to tell him, build the defense inside. Let's not take the bait. We've got the lead. Let's not go out and extend. I told you it was going to be a track meet, but there's a little bit of a chess match as well.
You get 2 accomplished coaches as you look at Jacek Duda, who played with the Polish junior national team. You get 2 coaches like a Patino, like a Thompson, like a couple I saw last night, Jim O'Brien and Jim Calhoun. There are some quality coaches in this conference, and that might be an understatement.
Well, you're going to earn your money. You know, I was looking at John walking out here tonight. How about this for Georgetown in 9 days? DePaul at home, on the road to Providence, on the road to Syracuse, on the road to St. John's and Madison Square Garden. That's a season for a lot of teams.
This is not a conference for the faint of heart. 35-30, Providence. Delray Brooks, pretty move around, and there's a transition. Charles Smith, the head of the field. He has Brooks on his tail. And Delray Brooks with a great defensive play. Oh, what a defensive play by Delray Brooks. Not only did he take it away, he kept the ball.
And then you would have bet money against anybody catching Charles Smith when Charles had the breakaway. There's a great block at that end. Now, look at Brooks' dig. Really makes a good move. Charles Smith thought he had the 2.
See, Delray was angry because he got a shot blocked down the other way. And he came from a block shot. He didn't pout. He just got his legs together and made a great play. Donovan tracks it down. The action is furious as Kipfer hits the jump shot from the left side. No good. And a foul is going to be called inside. I think Jonathan Edwards is going to get tagged for his second personal foul. Both teams are over the limit. They've been over the limit for a while. Screen comes back in for Providence. Mark Tillman checks back in for the Hoyas. And John Thompson holding a little board meeting with his 5.
Well, he takes advantage of the mass substitution to have a little 10-second timeout on the sideline. The energy level in this building is very, very high. And Patino knew that his Providence team had to get out of the gate well to keep the crowd up and fired up, and he's got them that way. They're standing all around. This is an SRO job. This is one of the 12-5 nights.
Dave Kipper, a 69% free throw shooter, has 9 points in the ball game. He came in averaging 11.9 per game. As you can see, he leads the Friars in rebounding as well. Very unnoticed player with this team. Donovan gets a lot of press, so does Delray Brooks. You don't hear much about Kipper. He quietly gets it done.
You called it right before. He's the blue-collar guy. He does all the tough work, the grunt work in the lane. He picks up a lot of loose garbage.
Meanwhile, down the other way, Reggie Williams has 5 points.
The Providence has done a good job. What they're doing in their defense is they're playing the matchup zone. But as you watch Reggie go through off the ball, they'll actually literally switch him from one player to another. So they're almost playing him man-to-man within the confines. See the switch off there from Duda?
Traveling violation against Mark Tillman. And we have 3:43 remaining. We have a TV timeout coming up. Providence led by 11, had the lead reduced to nothing. It was a tied game, and then Providence has retaken the lead. Plymouth player of the game to be selected at the conclusion of this game and during every game televised by the Big East Conference Television Network as part of the Chrysler Corporation sponsorship of Big East basketball. To try to put an MVP of the game, I mean, you got 22 candidates right now.
I was going to say, I can't eliminate anyone yet.
First time I have ever seen a wave in an indoor building. Well, I'm seeing it now.
You see the guy in the middle of the picture there. They've got 2 students who dress up as the Blues Brothers. This is traditionally, even when it's been a big crowd, been an adult crowd that sort of sat and waited for you and entertained them. These kids have gotten the whole building fired up, along with another guy in the end zone called the Phantom Friar. So it looks to me as though some of the Syracuse mascot stuff is spreading.
The Phantom Friar's got to be pledging for a fraternity with the outfit he's got on. All right, Providence in front, 37-30. They have run off an 8-2 spurt, an 8-1 spurt, actually, in the last 3.5.
Georgetown in the matchup zone now. They need to keep in touch with Brooks on the perimeter, not let screen penetrate.
Good penetration there by Brooks. Wright missed the jumper, and Jonathan Edwards at the rebound. The long outlet to Reggie Williams. The gun pass to Perry McDonald, and screen made a great defensive play. But a foul is going to be called on Jacek Duda. I guess you could say piling on might be the call.
You're seeing on every transition up court, the 2 gunfighters just standing and staring and looking at each other in the eye with a quick draw. And that time it was a great pass by Reggie Williams and a heck of a defensive play by Carlton Screen. And Jacek Duda got the call really for the late hit, second man in. But the effort is just unbelievable. You can almost feel the energy going on all throughout the building.
Perry McDonald, who missed his first 2 free throws of the night, has now hit his last 3 in a row. Once upon a time in high school, McDonald played a little defensive end for the high school team. You look at his size at 6'4", well-built, solid, tough. Gets the roll there. 6 points for Perry McDonald. Halfway to his average, and Georgetown's lead, or Georgetown now trails by 5. Providence led by 11. Georgetown cut it to a tie at 29. Providence brought it back up to 7. It is now 5. Great defensive play by Edwards, and it's batted back out by Duda.
Again, the effort. Effort on one side by Georgetown, return effort on the other side.
Duda with a big rebound there, right back up with it. You don't see Jacek Duda go to the basket too much. It's a 7-point lead for Providence. Jonathan Edwards with a good play there, and here's Tillman. Reggie Williams wants it by himself, and screen picked his pocket. And then in frustration, Reggie Williams committed the foul going down the other way. Carlton Screen is having a half. A freshman from New York, and he doesn't have any idea the magnitude of this game.
They call him Paco, and he got into Reggie right there. As Reggie went through, Reggie never saw him. He came from the left side, and you didn't really see it on the replay because Darrell Wright was blocking you off. But as Carlton turned and went the other way, Reggie just reached out and grabbed him. It was a good call. Good steal by Carlton Screen.
Reggie Williams, who averages about 34 minutes a ball game. The only senior on the starting 5 for Georgetown. The only senior on the roster for the Hoyas. And there's a great shot right there. The teacher and the student. And someday, everything that Thompson has told Reggie Williams, Reggie will use in the NBA.
Well, I think a lot of what he's been telling him over the last 3+ years has certainly sunk in. Credit Providence with really doing a good job on keeping in touch with Reggie Williams. They have made some different adjustments in their defense. They're actually passing him off in the confines of the matchup from one player to another.
Screen with 9 points, came in averaging less than 5 a ball game. Tillman almost slid the pivot foot on a walk. Pass inside to Williams. The basket doesn't count on that time. Screen made a freshman mistake. You're not going to block Reggie Williams' shot when you're 6 foot tall and the other guy is 6'7".
Yeah, but I told you, Screen doesn't know he's a freshman. They forgot to tell him. He says, hey, you know, this is basketball. It's 94 feet, 5 guys on each team. Let's go play.
Reggie Williams has played now all 5 positions for John Thompson. He played a little point guard against DePaul last weekend.
And you know, the big plays, I thought that the out-of-bounds play against DePaul off the sideline, out-of-bounds off a timeout, really great screen on the play. Set play that they put in at the timeout. Reggie cans it from the corner. Then they go up the other end, and he puts pressure on the ball, and DePaul travels on the sideline. Well, then he gets it back.
Things are going so bad right now for Georgetown, and even Reggie's missing free throws. An 83% free throw shooter, as you can see, averaging less than 23 per ball game. He only has 5 points. He missed both free throws. Is that rare?
Very.
So Georgetown down by 9. They have trailed by as many as 11. Delray Brooks trying to put the knockout punch, and it wasn't there. And here's Williams with the rebound. We have 1:53 to play, plus 20 minutes in the second half, and this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. McDonald, Tillman, Winston, Williams, and Edwards for Georgetown. Tillman around Brooks with the running one-hander. It is no good, but Williams underneath of the rebound, muscling for position, gets the basket, and a foul is going to be called on Darrell Wright.
Reggie Williams, and that's where the Hoyas, when things aren't going too well, you'll find the guys in blue going to the offensive board. I mean, they have been a tough offensive rebounding team this year, and Reggie Williams there for the chance for the three-point play. One of the problems with trying to keep Georgetown off the offensive board is their quickness, Howard. You know, offensive rebounding is motion. If you can get in motion and get at the glass, and they've got a lot of people with a lot of quickness, and they do a good job of just moving.
Reggie Williams with a three-point play, and right now Reggie with 8 points. Here comes Delray Brooks with Jonathan Edwards, who got off of him for a moment.
Close to 5 seconds.
And a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Jaren Jackson. Jackson, his first personal, with 1:17 to play. Rick Pitino, the head coach at Providence, had 17 wins last year. That was the most for a Providence coach since a guy named Gavitt. And his team won 24 ball games 9 years ago.
Well, Rick came within 1 field goal of getting to the NIT semifinals. And really a remarkable job that this young man has done here. And he's done it with a well-organized staff, with a lot of energy, and with getting his kids to have confidence in their style and in himself.
Jacek Duda with 5 points in the ball game. Pitino getting points from unexpected sources tonight. Duda with 5. He normally averages less than 4. Screen with 9 averages half that.
The adrenaline.
Almost a great play by Brooks. Boy, don't you know that Reggie Williams is going to come out in the second half fired up. And he's the catalyst. He's the leader of the team.
Well, every time they've been in trouble, he's the guy that's showed them the way. But the freshmen are really done a good job. Good shot by Smith. Bangs in and out.
Goes in and out, and a foul is going to be called, I think, on Reggie Williams, who has now quickly gotten 2 fouls with 58 seconds remaining. And they'll go to the free throw line, 1-1. Providence leading 42-35. The Friars ranked 3rd in the nation in scoring, averaging a little better than 90 points per game. And Duda to the free throw line, 1-1. Harry McDonald will check back into the game, and Reggie Williams sits down. Thompson does not want to see Reggie with a third foul on the last minute.
It's called preventive coaching, preventive medicine. Duda, defector from the Polish national team. Lane violation by Edwards, but it won't be called because the ball goes in.
Duda with 6 points in the game. Because you know what, Bobby Knight always teases Bill Parcells, his close friend and coach of the Super Bowl champion Giants. He said, I hate when you go into that prevent defense, because all you're doing is preventing yourself from stopping it. Shamsuddin into the game, and John Thompson's team down by 8, and he's still smiling. They're down 9. But he knows that they're going to come back in the second half and make it a tough game.
How does he know that?
Track record.
I won't argue that.
9-point game. Providence in front. They have led by as many as 11. Georgetown cut it to an even game at 29, and since that point, it has been a 15-6 spurt for Providence.
Georgetown would like to get it inside to Perry McDonald here, if they can, or to Jonathan Edwards. Try to get the three-pointer the other way, the old-fashioned way. Earn it down in the paint. We've got McDonald matched up on Shamsuddin.
20 on the shot clock, 32 on the half. Smith all the way inside, doesn't get the basket, but he does draw the foul.
And did he ever show you some quickness and some courage there? You know, Charles Smith doesn't carry a lot of weight on him, and he's taking it into the lands of the Giant. You see it here. Brooks almost steals it. Now Smith has a lane, and to the basket he goes. And Shamsuddin gets him on the way by.
Charles Smith, the sophomore from Washington, D.C., a 57.6% free throw shooter.
You'll see Patino go for the last shot, I would think, off this, unless he can get Donovan a wide-open three-pointer.
Free throw is missed. It is a two-shot foul. And very quickly, Sam Jefferson checks into the game for Jonathan Edwards, number 50.
The halftime stats, when they come up, are not going to be flattering to Georgetown from the foul line, Howard.
So Smith makes 1 of 2. He has 3 points in the ball game. And now Providence, with 25 seconds remaining, will set it up for 1 shot.
And you'll see the 4 corners out of the Friars now.
Almost a steal by Charles Smith. Looking for the charge. If you don't have your Blue Cross Blue Shield paid up when you become a member of the Hoyas, you better get it paid up, because you're going to do a lot of diving.
I think there have been as many bodies on the floor. Here's the 2-on-2 from the top. Travel.
Traveling violation against Billy Donovan. So now Georgetown will have the ball with 4 seconds remaining from side court, albeit on their side of the midcourt line, and they have a chance for 1 shot. And Reggie Williams comes back into the game. Why do you suppose Reggie comes back?
You don't think they'd be searching for a three-point play, do you?
Mark Tillman checks back in. Now Providence makes a quick change.
See, what's going on while all these changes are being made is that both coaches are setting offense and defense on the sideline. So it's a little bit of a timeout at the same time.
Snedeker's in the game for Providence. Reggie Williams with 1 second to go. Just short. So Providence goes off at halftime, and Ricky Pitino's got to feel good about it. His team is up 8, but he also knows that it's not enough. You have to do a little bit more than just hit the jab to Georgetown. You got to throw the right cross once in a while, and we'll see what he does in the second half. The score at halftime: Providence 44, Georgetown 36. We'll come right back. Halftime at the Providence Civic Center. The Friars of Providence leading Georgetown's Hoyas 44-36. In tonight's Big East halftime feature, we take a look at one of the nation's most improved players, Billy Donovan of Providence College.
When Billy Donovan got out of high school, some thought he was too fat and too slow to play major college basketball. But that was 3 years and 20 pounds ago, and they never understood the love affair Billy Donovan has with the game.
Well, my father coached CYO ever since when I was first born. And I used to go to practice all the time and just be in the gym trying to reach the basket when I was about 5 years old. And ever since then, I just kept on playing and kept on playing. And as time went on, as I got towards high school, it got to be very important to me. I saw people playing in front of 20, 30,000 people. It was something I really liked, and that's something I really wanted to do.
Playing before the big crowds took a while. As a freshman, Donovan averaged just 2 points a game. As a sophomore, just 3. But then came new coach Rick Pitino. The weight disappeared. Donovan got quicker. The scoring average went to 15. And William Donovan suddenly became Billy the Kid.
Well, Billy had, as you know, a sensational year last year. Not only does he practice hard, he plays hard with each practice and game, but he's a big game player as well. He came through when we needed games and weren't going well with the last-second shot on numerous occasions. And he's not afraid to take it, and would also be willing to pass it any time. So that's why I like. He's the complete basketball player.
Last year, Billy Donovan won the admiration of Providence College fans with his skills, but he captured their hearts with his last-second heroics. Time after time, Donovan won games in the closing seconds. The game against Boston College still lives in both Pitino's and Donovan's mind.
0-0-0 on the clock when it left his hands, and that was one of the shots I did not think, oh, yeah, we're going in at the buzzer. I didn't think it had a chance. It was short. Of course, you got the BC rim that has worn down a little bit since Jimmy O'Brien played, and here we got a break on that shot.
Well, I guess the game was tied, and in regulation time, I made the front end of a one-on-one and missed the second shot, and the game went to overtime. I think after the experience against St. John's, fouling Walter Berry towards the end, I was a little down after that, and I realized there's still 5 minutes left in the game, and we could still win the game. I think Donnie Brown penetrated and kicked it back to me, and I gave a ball fake and took one dribble, and I was just thankful that the shot went in.
That shot went in, and so have a lot of others for Billy Donovan these past couple of years. He's gone from bench warmer to one of the Big East premier guards. Weekly now, he plays before those big crowds he dreamed about as a youngster. The perfect story, right? Well, there's one thing Billy Donovan would change, and if you know him, the answer is no surprise. If you could do it all over again, is there anything you'd change?
I'd probably try to play more basketball, if I could.
I thought you were going to tell me you'd be 6'6".
That would help, too.
Well, if Billy was 6'6", he would not be able to handle the ball as effectively, and he certainly probably wouldn't be as accomplished as a three-point field goal shooter. Here's your score at halftime. Providence leading Georgetown 44-36. We'll come back to the center in Providence after these words from your local station. Halftime score, Providence Friars leading Georgetown's Hoyas 44-36. Thus far, Dave Gavitt, it has been as advertised. Both teams are pushing the ball up the floor. Thus far, Providence with 11 points from their bench. Paco Screen has 9 of those 11.
Well, I think Screen's been a big difference in the game defensively as well, because he snapped back on the defense and done a good job of being the second man in to help on Reggie Williams. The energy level in the first half has just been unbelievable, and these two teams are in great condition. Credit to their coaches. They use a lot of people, but I'm not sure if I've seen a game in a long time that's had as many bodies on the floor diving for loose balls as we've seen in the first 20 minutes here.
We don't have the statistics yet as to the free throw shooting for Georgetown, but I have to believe it's been very good.
Well, I think that's the difference on the scoreboard, is that the Hoyas have had opportunities at the line with 15 minutes to go in the first half. They were on the line for 1-on-1. Providence had already used the 6 fouls and were in the bonus, but Georgetown really didn't make Providence pay for that. It's not been a problem that's been confined to this game, to be honest with you. The Hoyas have had times this year where they've not shot the ball very well from the foul line.
Now, away from these two teams, a couple of Syracuse standouts had outstanding weeks. Of course, Ronnie Cycli, the Syracuse center, was the Dodge Player of the Week. 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 block shots against Villanova. Had 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks, as well as the game-winning free throw, and I'll say that right, against St. John's.
Well, Cycli has all of the credentials to be a great player. The only thing he needs is more consistency. And this last week, he had some consistency.
Of course, Ronnie's getting a lot of help off the boards from a freshman named Derek Coleman, who, of course, would be our Freshman Player of the Week, the Plymouth Freshman of the Week. Derek for Syracuse, 17 points against Villanova, 8 against St. John's, but he had 9 rebounds.
There were 2 freshmen that caught everyone's eye at the Olympic Festival in Houston last year, which is the 48 outstanding young high school seniors and college freshmen. Derek Coleman was one. J.R. Reed from North Carolina was the other, and both of them have given no evidence of slowing down.
Some of the critics of the Big East have said this is a down year for the Big East Conference. 4 teams are in the top 20. Look at the standings for the Big East Conference. You'll see some records that are pretty impressive. Syracuse 17-2, Georgetown 14-2, Providence 14-3. But look at the league records. Talk about balance.
Well, if you look at it overall, I think the thing that jumps out at me is Providence and Pittsburgh, lumped right there, tied for second with Georgetown, 14-3, 15-4. The normal names have been Syracuse, Georgetown, St. John's, Villanova. St. John's, Villanova aren't bad. In fact, they're very good. St. John's is ranked. But look at those 2 that are up there. And what that means for the top 4 is 2 more tough road stops. My goodness, John Thompson's got to sit over on that bench tonight and say, thank God I've already been to Pittsburgh and got out with a win. Got to come here. Syracuse came in here and got a win. St. John's is coming here on Saturday a lot of people still have to go to Pittsburgh, and Providence and Pittsburgh, I think it's been their emergence that's made it tough.
The results this week have been a little surprising. Monday night, Pittsburgh at the Carrier Dome. What an incredible effort by the Panthers, not only beating Syracuse, but beating them, and the game was not as close as that score, a 14-point game.
I agree, and it was the Jerome Lane Charles Smith show. Jerome Lane has become a big-time rebounder par excellence, and you saw a heck of a win for Connecticut last night, Howard, in the Boston Garden.
Connecticut lost the services of Phil Gamble and Cliff Robinson because of academics, and I said at the beginning of the telecast last night, they were like an octopus that had 2 of their tentacles cut off. The other 6 got stronger, and then, of course, you saw the game at the bottom.
Villanova played a great second half. I think as well as Villanova can play, their personnel in the front court is a little shy this year. St. John's made a couple big athletic plays to win that one. St. John's next stop is right here in the Providence Civic Center. And if the Friars can hang on to this lead against Georgetown tonight, you can imagine what will be awaiting Louis Carnesecca and company on Saturday when they come in here.
All right, briefly, Dave, you're John Thompson. What do you do to cut down that 8-point lead?
Well, I think John just will make a couple of adjustments, and one of them probably will be to start doing a little screening on the baseline to free Reggie Williams. Providence has done a good job of passing Reggie off from one player to another. I think you'll see more man-to-man principles in the Georgetown offense. Look to see Reggie Williams more in the offense this half.
All right, Providence is ahead by 8. But believe me, if you've seen Georgetown play any time at all, you know that they are tough regardless of what the deficit is in their face. They showed it against DePaul over the weekend. We'll come back for the second half of tonight's game. Providence leading Georgetown 44-36 at halftime. Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Here's your score at halftime. The Friars in front, 44-36. I'm Howard David along with Dave Gavitt. First half statistics from the free throw line. Georgetown has had a rough night. They're 14 of 25 from the charity stripe. It has not been very charitable. Now you can see the rest of the statistics. Team shooting about a little bit higher than what they normally do. And three-point range, Georgetown is 0 for 5.
Providence has done a great job defending three-pointers all year long. They work at it. The rebounds, I think, in Providence's favor, really, that's an interesting one. Turnovers 9 and 11. I think the thing that's amazing is I sat here until these stats came up at the half. I didn't realize Billy Donovan had not scored a point. Billy Donovan has played well. He just hasn't had many opportunities to shoot the ball. But for Providence to be ahead 8 without Billy Donovan having a point is really something.
Actually, Reggie Williams with 8 points is far below his norm for this stage of the ball game.
Friars have done a good job limiting his output. Look for Georgetown to try to do some things to get Reggie more into the offense this half.
All right, let's look at the Providence scoring, and you can see that it's Brooks and Kipfer that have kept him in the game. Screen with 9 points in 9 minutes. Billy Donovan, as Dave Gavitt brought out, has not scored yet. The man came into the ball game tonight averaging 20.8 points per game, and we are underway second half.
And Pop Lewis, who had to sit most of the first half in foul trouble, back. He gives them that third three-point threat now. Georgetown opening in the matchup zone.
For Georgetown, it's Perry McDonald, Dwayne Bryant, Ronnie Highsmith, Mark Tillman, Reggie Williams. For Providence, Pop Lewis, Jacek Duda, Billy Donovan, Delray Brooks, and Dave Kipfer. Crowd beginning to settle back in as we begin the second half. Providence in front by 8 points. They led by 11. Georgetown drew even at 29, and then Providence went wild late in the half. Lewis far short, but gets the rebound.
Providence has been quick and opportunistic all night long. Good pass inside.
Kipfer with the kiss. Dave Kipfer with 12 points. All court pressure. Bryant quickly up the floor. McDonald, Reggie Williams in the paint. Inside, Highsmith with the follow. He misses it, but they keep it alive. That's the key. Turnaround, Williams, basket counts and a foul. Crowd was yelling 3-second violation.
Got to have possession to be 3 seconds. You know, he's in there a long time, but the ball's being shot. So you can see the crowd yelling, but this is really kept alive by Ronnie Highsmith. And what a contortionist move, almost a 270-degree turn by Williams to get it to go down.
So Reggie Williams to the free throw line, an 83% shooter, the only player left from the '84 championship team. Reggie struggling from the line. He's missed his last 3 in a row.
And that's very unusual.
Lewis, three-point try, far short. Last touched, I believe, by Georgetown. It'll be Providence ball.
You know, the energy level is so high that on every play, you've got both benches up looking for something. That time, Pop Lewis wanted the foul. Georgetown wanted a foul on the recovery in the corner.
Reggie's left foot might have been on the sideline. And in any event, it is Providence ball. We've played a minute and a half in the second half. 46-38, Providence. Anything can and does happen in Big East basketball. I saw it last night when UConn, after losing 2 starters, beat Boston College at the Boston Garden. Seton Hall beat Georgetown twice this year. Here's Williams on the break. McDonald with a step on Lewis, who already has 3 fouls, and he was obviously aware of that.
He had to be careful. He didn't want to get one tracking him down. Providence just needs to make sure that Georgetown doesn't get a run on him. Georgetown obviously wants to try to make their defense become a real factor here early in this half.
Lewis wanted the 3-point try. This is Kipfer. Takes it inside, and excellent defensive play by Reggie Williams. The lead to Mark Tillman. And we get a foul called, I believe, on Duda. Jacek Duda commits the personal. That is his 3rd. Correction, it is his 4th.
Tillman got hit on the hand, maybe on a crazy bone on the elbow. As he's grabbing his hand, Steve Wright will come quickly into the game for Providence. There's Tillman with a good, strong move, fouled by Duda. I think he got it on the elbow. You see him holding his hand here at the foul line, and I think he's hurt. Thompson's looking down the other end here at the Providence student section under the basket at the Providence end of the court. He's angry about something, and now he's yelling at Patino. Now the students are into it. Now the 2 coaches are going at it at midcourt.
And now a technical foul has been called on Patino.
On both of them.
On both of them is right. So John and Patino a little bit angry at each other. John, once upon a time, was a big favorite. And meanwhile, as you look at the bench, we're getting a technical. I believe there were at least the 2 technical fouls called, 1 on each coach.
I think you got a coaching box violation called on each coach. What I don't know is what got John so upset in the first place. You see the foul here. Tillman was at the line, obviously hurt. Maybe the student body was getting on Tillman. I'm not sure. But he got very, very angry at something going on at the opposite end of the court. And then he and Patino got into it.
So Jaron Jackson will go to the line and shoot 2 technical free throws. The bench technical is 2.
They're still joining each other over there on the sideline.
Jaron Jackson makes the first technical. Meanwhile, Mark Tillman is being escorted out of the arena with his hand wrapped in ice. I don't know. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. His hand could be broken because he got it pinned against the backboard, slapped against the backboard. Then you see Tillman leaving.
Laurie Michael taking him to the training room, and I could tell when he was at the foul line that he was in pain. Now the players are getting into it at midcourt. Looks like Jackson and Steve Wright. And Reggie Williams calls a team huddle at one side, Billy Donovan at the other. Okay, the first 2 free throws were the replacement free throws for Tillman. Now Reggie Williams is going to have 2 on the bench technical.
He's in a lot of pain, and justifiably so. Duda smacked his hand against the glass. Reggie Williams struggling at the free throw line. He's missed 5 in a row.
He misses both the bench technical, and now Donovan will try to pick up the 2 at the other end. And Thompson is still incensed on the sideline.
John Thompson, who graduated from Providence College in 1964. Billy Donovan makes the free throw, the first technical. That is Billy's first point of the night. He hits both, and it's a 7-point game. And I'd love to know why John is so angry.
It had to have something to do with a crowd reaction to...
Here it is. We're seeing the 2 of them nose to nose. Well, not nose to nose. Patino's a little shorter, just a bit. And John is really furious, and so is Patino.
The assistant coaches in the roles of peacemakers over there. All right, play back in.
7-point game. Providence in front with 17.5 to play in regulation. Talk about a game as advertised. Reggie Williams with the fake on Pop Lewis. And a traveling violation against Reggie Williams. Call was made by Hannon, and the official on the play, Jim Howell, did not make the call.
Well, that's okay. I mean, coaches will play that game, but if a guy sees travel, he's got to call it. Hannon had it.
Delray Brooks, great long-range shooter. Donovan lost control, and Ronnie Highsmith with the steal to Williams for the stuff. That will quiet the crowd down.
How many times have you seen Georgetown, in the face of adversity, just come out and play tougher?
A lot of people have been critical of Georgetown. When Patrick Ewing played for the Hoyas, it was the allegations of we against them. And I'm not sure that it was justified, but that's the way a lot of people saw it. Here's Dwayne Bryant. Reggie from three-point range. Doesn't get it to go, but Highsmith with the follow. His first point of the night. And Georgetown within 3, and Providence calls timeout. We have played 3.5 minutes in the second half. John Thompson's Hoyas trailing Rick Pitino's Providence Friars 48-45. The Plymouth player of the game to be selected at the conclusion of this game and during every game televised by the Big East Conference Television Network as part of the Chrysler Corporation sponsorship of Big East basketball. Howard David and Dave Gavitt at the Providence Civic Center, where 12,500 plus are seeing something that was supposed to be. Well, rarely do you see what comes in as advertised.
Well, the energy level in this game has been tremendous. Lewis from downtown gets front rim.
He's been short his last 3 times. Bryant in transition to McDonald. Here's Reggie Williams over Steve Wright. Reggie Williams now taking charge for Georgetown as the Hoyas climb within 1.
And they've had 6 unanswered since Donovan made the 2 free throws. Let's keep that in mind, all off that confrontation with Thompson on the sideline. And his team has picked energy up from that, but this crowd is not out of this game. They've been in it from the opening whistle, and they're in it now.
Donovan, three-pointer. Off the mark, and Reggie Williams with a long rebound. And you can tell the intelligence of the senior. He runs into Steve Wright, and a foul is going to be called on Wright.
Reggie really set this up as he veers off to the side, and Wright, running with his head down, bumps into him. That's the 3rd team on Providence this half. Georgetown yet to be called for a foul.
Wayne Bryant, you'll notice his backcourt mate Mark Tillman is not on the game if you just tuned in. He's taken into the dressing room. We don't know the extent of his injury, but it involved his left hand. Highsmith with the jump hook. Everybody crashing, and Jonathan Edwards or Highsmith is going to get nailed for a foul. One of the 2 of them. I think it's Highsmith. It is Ronnie Highsmith. John Thompson on the board of directors of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Certainly one of the most respected coaches in the United States. Otherwise, he wouldn't be coaching the '88 Olympic team.
And Rick Pitino, the young guy that's come in here and turned this thing around in 2 years and really making his mark, and they've both prepared their teams well for this game. Donovan has had a lot of good shots. They just haven't gone down for him.
Well, he got Perry McDonald in the air, and unfortunately when you go up, you're going to have to come down sometime, and he did, but right on Donovan.
You know, given the kind of shooting luck that Billy Donovan's having, Pitino's got to be saying, hey, you know, we're up 1, 15:09 to play. Billy's not really got it going yet. He's got to feel pretty good about that.
Kipper, the outside pass to Brooks, three-pointer. Delray Brooks with 14 points.
And they look for that. They try to go inside out to set up the three-pointer, the pass into the post, get the defense to clap down, and then have those shooters fanning out on the three-point line. Good feed by Kipper.
It's kind of a reverse psychology. Usually you want it the other way. You want to try to work the ball inside. Providence worked it the other way. Reggie Williams, pretty move. Oh, is he smooth.
You called it at the half. You said look for Reggie Williams to have a big second half, and he indeed is doing that.
Reggie already has 16 points. He had 8 at halftime. He's already matched that total through the first 5 minutes and 24 seconds. A 2-point game with Providence in front. They led by 8 at halftime. Donovan, three-pointer. His first of the night. Billy Donovan with 5. Usually the cream rises to the top. Reggie Williams for Georgetown. Billy Donovan for Providence. Here's a steal by Kipfer. One man to beat Bryant. He goes over the top of Bryant. Basket counts. Now is it a charge or a blocking foul?
I think it's a block, and I think they called the goal good.
Goal should be good.
2 quick three-pointers and a steal off the press. And Providence, who had seen the deficit cut to 1, is back in it. The roll is around and in.
Meanwhile, the other way. The other angle we see it. The basket counts. That is 14 points for David Kipfer.
And he's had a game, hasn't he? He and Duda have both given Providence a real big boost inside.
We still have 14 minutes and 13 seconds of this. Can you stand it?
Well, I can handle it all right. And the players I know are in great shape. It's the coaches and the crowd I'm more worried about.
Kipfer with 15 points. Averages 12 per ball game. 8-point lead. Highsmith took too many steps. No question about it. John Thompson shaking his head as his players are running up the floor. He knew that the man traveled with it. Charles Smith getting ready to come into the game.
And Howard, this crowd is really about 60% of them on their feet now. And one more three-pointer by somebody, and this place is liable to explode.
57-49 Providence with 14:05 remaining. Delray Brooks. And a foul is called on Bobby Winston. Mickey Crowley, the official here, one of the, I guess, the lead official, and a timeout is being called for. I'll continue that thought in a moment. But we have 13 minutes and 59 seconds remaining second half. Providence leading Georgetown 57-49. We'll come back after these words from your local station. Providence Civic Center is center stage of the Big East Conference tonight. We are seeing a basketball game that so typifies the fiber of this conference. Providence leading by 8. Delray Brooks to the line for 2-shot free throws. Free throw shooting has not been sterling tonight.
One of the things that happens when you see a game that's played at this pace, at this high energy level, is that when kids get to the foul line, they can't calm themselves down enough to be precise.
That's a good point. 9-point lead for Providence. Charles Smith in the game, and he almost throws it away. Winston with the save, but right into Kipfer's hands. Quickly to Billy Donovan. Billy looking for the foul, and he draws it. He was trying to shoot that one from the hip. Bobby Winston commits the personal foul. Winston actually made the mistake initially. Got trapped. Well, he didn't make the mistake, but the ball was thrown behind him.
He sort of got hung up, and Donovan took it into the lane there and really did well to get it off. And Jim Howell did well to hustle to catch up with that play. You want to talk about conditioning? How about these refs trying to go 94 feet up and down with these guys?
They better be in good shape. Billy Donovan named the Providence College Male Athlete of the Year last year. 5th on the all-time Providence list in assists.
Terry McDonald coming back for the Hoyas, and I see Mark Tillman back out on the Georgetown bench. He's sitting down right, Mike Riley kneeling in front of him. I can't see his hand because Mike's blocking me.
Tillman was injured after being fouled by Jacek Duda and actually pinned against the backboard. Great defense by the Friars, and Billy Donovan commits the foul. That is his 3rd.
Not a foul that Patino wanted. Providence made a nice little subtle change in their press there, and they waited until the ball got over the timeline, then trapped it using the 10-second line as the back guard, and Billy reached in.
All right, now you see Tillman. You get a shot of his left hand. You'll see his thumb on his left hand is taped, but that is all. It is not his.
He looks like he's hurting, though. You look at his face, you see him holding that hand gingerly.
Delray Brooks goes out. Carlton Screen, who had an exceptionally good first half with 9 points, comes into the game. McDonald Paco screens, wiped it away from him, but Reggie Williams reacquires. Jonathan Edwards is fouled by Dave Kipfer, and Jonathan Edwards wanted to get into it with Kipfer, and Kipfer just took off.
That's not Kipper backing down, I don't think, because he's pretty tough too. And now Perry McDonald. I think what happened is that Jonathan got cut over the eye. Obviously, it was not intentional. Kipper going for the ball on the way up. You can see it. There's Jonathan. Kipper just reached over. Yeah, tried to bang the ball.
Jonathan Edwards missed a lot of action in December from his back injury, but on the Big East all-freshman team.
Well, it was a tough thing for Georgetown to play as long in December as they did without Jonathan, but one of the things that happened as Conlon comes in for Kipper, and Kipper will get a hand now, you know, for the wrong reasons. Yeah. But is that it did give Highsmith and Jefferson and some other younger kids some playing time. All right, here's Edwards.
Edwards to the line for two. Jonathan Edwards with 3 points in the ball game. Hey, take another look at this foul, and
he hit the ball, and then his arm came right down across Jonathan's eye.
And then it was off to the races for Kipper. He didn't want any part of Edwards.
He's heading for the border, Canadian.
That's where he came from. The lead to Pop Lewis. And Bobby Winston's going to get tagged for the personal foul. That's his third. And you wonder if Thompson's going to put Mark Tillman back into the game, or maybe he's called it a night for him. We'll have to wait and see. Bobby comes over. And probably right now, Bobby Winston's feeling like he is in the principal's office.
I don't think he's being dressed down. I think he's just getting a few words of advice on the defense. Okay, here we go. 60-50, 13-11.
Lewis the alley-oop to Steve Wright, and a foul is going to be called on Jonathan Edwards. Edwards claiming he was stationary and his hands were just straight up. Personal foul on Jonathan Edwards. That is his third. John Thompson, who once upon a time played behind Bill Russell, knows about the physical contact. He saw it in practice every day. Played behind Russell with the Celtic championship teams of 65 and 66.
And was acquired by the Chicago Bulls in expansion and decided that he didn't want to go and started what has been a really remarkable coaching career.
The thing that's amazing to me, when John came in 15 years ago and took over the Georgetown program, he had inherited a team that won 3 ball games the year before. And everybody figured, well, here's this guy Thompson. He's probably going to be a pretty good coach. Maybe we'll get an occasional NIT bid. Nobody expected him to accomplish what he has thus far.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people didn't want him hired. Said, why hire a high school coach?
Well, Maryland might be asked that same question right now, but we'll see what Mr. Wade can do.
He can coach. There's no question about that.
12-point lead. Reggie Williams cuts it to 9 with a 3-pointer. Reggie Williams with 19 points, 11 this half.
Surge, counter surge, and you've got to be impressed with both teams. The Hoyas you expect. They're always going to come back falling. They've been in there before so many times, but this is a little new for Providence, and as you said, they've seen leads go down and come right back strong.
Reggie Williams with the lead to Dwayne Bryant to Perry McDonald.
There's Williams for 3.
Can't leave Reggie alone. Not when he's on fire. Streak shooters are like that. They will burn you. He has 22. Would you believe the man has 22 points at this point in the game?
With about 4 minutes to go in the first half, he had 5.
12:20 remaining, and Reggie Williams has brought the Hoyas within 6, but Donovan doesn't get it to go. Conlon with the follow. Rejected by Reggie Williams. He is taking charge now, Mr. Williams is.
Here comes Guillory to give Edwards a break. Conlon and screen out. Delray Brooks and Kipper back in.
62-56. Hoyas trailing the Friars by 6 with 12 minutes remaining.
Georgetown running Reggie corner to corner now, trying to free him for the 3, but you'll see Providence almost pass him off. Brooks there almost playing a man-to-man on the top.
Jaron Jackson short, but Reggie with the rebound.
Guess who, right?
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
Incredible. I mean, he's done it at both ends in a little 3-minute stretch here and brought the Hoyas back. That's Providence's 6th team, so no shots involved. Next one puts them over the bonus. Georgetown is over the bonus. We'll go 11-50 with free throws the rest of the way.
Bryant on the inbound to who else? Reggie Williams. 24 points for Reggie Williams from Dunbar in Baltimore. They produced a few players, and there's going to be a timeout called for by Providence with 11:40 remaining. The Friars lead. One time was 12, is now 4. We'll come back to the Civic Center in Providence after these words from your local station. To further underscore what Reggie Williams means to the Georgetown Hoyas, Georgetown has scored 22 points in this half to cut the lead to 4. Reggie Williams has 16 of those 22 points in this half and 14 rebounds for good measure.
And a couple of block shots and a steal that I recall.
Something I just saw is worth repeating. I'll tell you in a second. Here's Kipper to the basket. Doesn't get it, and he's fouled by Guillory. I saw Dave Kipper getting ready to inbound the ball in front of the Georgetown bench, and John Thompson walked over and gave him a pat on the rump. You don't see, nobody sees that.
No, the little stuff. And really, if there's been a guy that's been the heart and soul and the guts of this Providence team tonight with the performance they've had to this point, it's this guy at the foul line right now. And he's got 15 points and a bundle of charges and blocks and all kinds of action.
Kipper missing the front end of the two-shot foul.
People in Providence know the tremendous job that Pitino did with Donovan. Slimmed him down, really made him into an offensive player, but he's done some job with Kipper, too.
2 free throws missed. Guillory with the rebound, and here come the Hoyas. They can cut it to 2 or maybe 1. Jaron Jackson, inside pass to Guillory, and it's swatted away by Pop Lewis.
Mark of respect for a great player. Providence is now playing a diamond switching matchup zone on that trip, and they had Delray Brooks playing Reggie Williams man-to-man.
Almost being double teamed every time he gets close to the basket. Brooks is fronting him. A little mismatch in size there.
They're putting a chaser on him. It's a diamond and one. A chaser on Reggie Williams.
Bryant double teamed. Inside it goes, and the lay-in by Perry McDonald, and a hard-working lay-in cuts the lead to 2.
It was a great pass by Bryant. Great pass by Bryant that time, Howard. Providence has had a counter surge, haven't they? Every time they've had an answer. Now they're going to be forced to do it again.
Lewis, look for the three-pointer. All the three-point shooters out beyond the lane. Here's Kipper with the turnaround. It doesn't go. And who else for the rebound but Reggie Williams, his 15th rebound of the night. Man, is he having a half. They can tie it right here. 10:30 remaining.
Friars back to their normal zone now, but still trying to match up with Williams. There he is, weak side.
There's a mismatch here. Williams guarded by Donovan.
It's okay as long as it's out there. Not okay for Providence if it gets inside. Georgetown being patient.
He moving without the ball. Three-pointer is over the backboard and out of bounds. It'll be Providence ball with a 2-point lead and 10:15 to play. Ricky Pitino is captain of the UMass team in '74.
That shot by Reggie might have appeared to be a little bit of a force, but to be honest with you, Kipper just made a heck of a defensive effort to change it at the end.
Donovan comes up the ball, trailed all over. Delray Brooks with the fake, the jumper, no good. The rebound, swatted out of bounds. Last touched by Georgetown, I believe. It'll be Providence ball as Steve Wright comes into the game. Charles Smith and Jonathan Edwards for Georgetown, replacing Jackson and Guillory.
We've played 30 minutes and 2 seconds, clock moving, and the pace of this game has not decreased. It's just an increase.
Delray again with the fake, wants to go inside. I'm going to get a foul probably on Charles Smith. Charles Smith committing the foul that is only his first, but Georgetown is over the limit. Providence is at the limit.
And this will be a two-shotter as Brooks was on the way up to the shooting motion. Smith reached in and got him.
Delray Brooks, once upon a time, Mr. Basketball in Indiana. Went to the University of Indiana. Things didn't quite work out there under Bobby Knight. Elected to leave. North Carolina State had an interest in Delray, and he elected to come here to Providence. He makes them both.
I would say he's probably pretty happy about his decision right about now, wouldn't you?
I think Pitino's a little happier. It's a 4-point lead for the Friars with 9:45 to play. And here comes Reggie Williams. What a dish to McDonald. Great. He draws the defense and then lays it off.
That was an unbelievable transition basket. The lead's at 2 again.
Whoever the coach was that said one man doesn't make a difference is probably out of coaching. That guy makes the difference.
Indeed.
Kipper right to the basket, and he's going to get... Oh, I'm surprised. All right. On first look, it looked like Kipper went over the top of McDonald, but McDonald's called for the blocking foul.
No complaint by Perry. It was a good, quick pass into Kipper. I think he was stationary. I just don't think he was directly in front of him. Couldn't tell from that angle.
Providence 4-2 in the Big East. Their wins have come over BC, Villanova, and UConn twice. Their losses, a 4-point loss after a terrific game against Syracuse and a 9-point loss to Pittsburgh.
The Pitt game on the road. Pitt still has to come here, and Pitt still has to go to Georgetown, coming off a big win against Syracuse on Monday night.
Kipper makes both free throws. He has 17 points tonight, way over his average of 11.9. It's a 4-point lead for Providence. Started to say earlier, I brought up Mickey Crowley, one of the officials. When the game gets tough, and a game like this, it's so physical. Mickey Crowley is the right guy to have as one of your officials because he's been there a long time.
Well, all three of these guys have Crowley and Hannon, very veteran officials. Jim Howell, veteran of ACC work for many years, and Jim Howell's worked in the Final Four a couple of times. There are no rookies in this crew.
Ricky Pitino coached for 5 years at Boston University, at which time he had a 91-51 record. Then he went on, coached a couple of years with UB Brown with the Knicks. Probably learned a little something from UB. You know, a lot of people criticized UB in New York when he was coaching the Knicks, but one of the things you can't be critical of him is the intensity level that he generates. There, a look at Mark Tillman, who probably will not play anymore tonight. He couldn't see the bandaged thumb on his left hand.
You can see the little bit of a look of pain on Tillman's face. That's the thing that struck me when he came back out to sit on the bench.
3-point game, Providence in front. Wright with the jump shot. You don't expect him to take that.
Well, he broke out of the double team and made a runner. That's a tough shot. And again, the counter surge. Georgetown had it to 2 twice, and now Providence boots it back up to 5.
8:50 remaining. Smith, Bryant, Williams, Edwards, and McDonald for Georgetown. McDonald with the left hand. Rebound, Kipfer. And a jump ball. Terrific defensive play by Reggie Williams. The possession will give the ball to Georgetown, to Providence.
You talk about quick hands. McDonald made a good move. Kipper made a big effort on the board. He didn't see Reggie. There's Reggie, came in from behind. Got ball. Okay, here's the Georgetown press.
Donovan leading Steve Wright, and he almost didn't see the pass coming.
He's running with his head down. Last time he did that, Reggie got a foul on him.
5-point game. Providence in front with 8:24 to play. Donovan, 3-pointer. Off the mark. Rebound, McDonald. He's got Smith down to the left side, but he slows it up. Williams, who's been on fire in the second half with 16 of his 24 points.
Again, Howard, though, you almost have the feeling that if Donovan ever finds it, and he's been consistent all year, that could be enough to get it done for the Friars.
McDonald is fouled over the top. I believe it is Steve Wright. It's either Steve Wright or Darrell Wright. And as Pop Lewis checks back in, and it was Steve Wright. And Darrell Wright goes out of the game. The foul is on Steve Wright, his third.
Take a look at foul trouble. Pop Lewis, the only one with 4.
Pop Lewis has 4 fouls. Steve Wright has 3. Duda has 3. Nobody in real serious foul trouble. For Georgetown, nobody.
A lot of people with 3 on both teams.
McDonald, a 70% free throw shooter. Got a strange rotation on the ball, or is it my imagination?
It is strange because in the first half he had a couple different times he shot it a little differently. Hand on the side of the ball rather than directly behind.
Whatever works for you. That time, here's Reggie with the follow, and he is fouled by Steve Wright.
All the little things. The offensive board, the defensive board, the bringing it through pressure. Keeping it alive.
Wright commits his 4th foul, and Jacek Duda checks back into the game.
Okay, here's the miss. Now, Reggie Williams, you see, you got to block him out. He goes over the back of Steve Wright, keeps it alive. Might have gotten away with a little push-off before he went up.
Reggie's still having his troubles at the free throw line, and he's the best free throw shooter on the Georgetown team. Hoyas have won 4 games this year in the Big East Wars. They have dropped 2, both to Seton Hall.
Might be ranked #1 in the country without those 2 Seton Hall losses. They'd be the only undefeated team, wouldn't they?
Steal is created by the Hoyas. They can get it within 1. It's a 3-point game with 7:40 remaining. Howard David and Dave Gavitt at the Providence Civic Center. Bryant, good drive. The follow does not go, and a foul is going to be called on Jacek Duda. That is his 4th. And now the foul problems start to become evident.
And what's happening now a little bit into Providence in their defense is they're paying such attention to Reggie Williams on the perimeter that Georgetown's able to sneak people in on that baseline behind him.
Now the official score has indicated that Jacek Duda has 5 fouls, so he's fouled out of the game. Steve Wright comes in. Yes, indeed, Duda's out of there. Duda leaves the game with 7 points. That is twice as many as he normally scores.
He gave him a big first half. Real big first half for Jacek Duda.
So McDonald now can cut the lead to 1.
No one's left, Howard. They're all here.
Everybody's checking their ticket stubs to make sure they have a souvenir of what's turned out to be a real thriller. It's a 2-point game. Look at the Hoya hands. Everybody moves. Donovan now. The dish to Lewis. The follow by Kipper. Should be a technical foul. I thought Kipper was hanging on the rim. A 4-point game. Providence's Dave Kipper has 19 points. 7 over his average.
It's usually Donovan that's slamming the door on you when you're trying to come back. Tonight it's been Kipper.
I watched Donovan last year against Seton Hall at the Meadowlands. Hit a jumper at the buzzer. 3-point try, and Reggie Williams. Oh, man. 28 points, and it's a 1-point game.
Providence knew right where he was, too.
Delray Brooks. A rebound of Reggie Williams as he rips it out of the hand of Pop Lewis. And Hoyas can take the lead with 6:40 to play.
Well, it's a big trip for the Friars if they can slam the door on the lead now. They've done it so many times tonight. Thrust, counter thrust, parry back and forth. And you'll see Georgetown be patient here.
Both teams playing all-out basketball. Reggie Williams with 30 points.
Oh, my goodness. He's made the last 2 jump shots under good pressure, good defensive pressure, both of them.
The Hoyas lead for the first time tonight, 71-70. Williams has 22 this half. Amazing.
And now Providence probing. They'll be patient.
Donovan has been ice cold tonight. Billy with 7 points, came in averaging 21 per ball game.
There's the screen for him.
Traveling violation and a good call by Jackie Hannon as Marty Conlon comes into the game, the freshman. John Thompson has to feel a whole lot better about the way things were going. New England Player of the Year in '64. An outstanding career at Providence College. He was with the team when they were in 2 NITs and 1 NC2A tournament.
Georgetown's going to take some time off the clock and hold it out now. And now you get to the chess match. Pitino not wanting to come. I think that's a good move. Georgetown's too quick to defend in that 4 corners. Ultimately, because of the 45-second clock, they'll have to come and attack. And John knows that. He was just trying to tempt them out.
15 on the shot clock. 5:10 remaining in the game. Georgetown by 1. They put the offense in motion with less than 10. With 8. With 7 on the shot clock. With 6. Charles Smith with 4 on the shot clock. Doesn't go, but Williams with the follow. Blocked over the top, and Conlon last man to touch it.
And the offensive boards that weren't really a big factor in the first half have been a big factor here in the second half.
Williams triggering the inbound to Dwayne Bryant.
New 45. And again, the 4 corners from Georgetown. And what Thompson's trying to do here, I mean, there's a long way to go in this one, 4:47. He's trying to get Pitino to take the bait, to come out and extend the defense so he can use that quickness on the spread floor. Pitino not taking the bait. He's going to sit back in. John says, fine, we'll get it down to 15 seconds, then we'll run our offense.
Georgetown averages, or rather, Providence averages 90 points per ball game. They only have 70. Now they go into the offense with 10. Reggie Williams, 3-point land. That was NBA 3-point land.
And that was a set play off the 4 corners. They see him call it from the sideline. Little circle move. Big shot for Reggie Williams and a big trip for the Friars.
A 4-point lead for Georgetown with 4:04 remaining, and Reggie Williams has 33 points. Donovan, three-pointer, answers right back.
And you just knew that Donovan was going to break out of it. And he broke out of it at the right time. Down 4, and he puts him right back to 1. Big, big shot for Billy Donovan.
74-73 Georgetown, and a timeout is called with 3:56 remaining. Hang on to your seatbelt, or just tighten it up a little bit. Georgetown is up by a point. Georgetown up by 1, 74-73 at halftime. It was Providence 44-36 in front by 8. They led at 1 point, 62-50, a 12-point margin. But mathematics will tell you that Georgetown has outscored Providence since that point, 24-11. And Reggie Williams, I don't even think on fire is the right word. Look at this.
25 second-half points. There's Kipfer with the putback. And if there's an MVP on the Friar side, you'd have to say it's David Kipfer, 19 points and just a whole bundle of energy. And here's the Friar press now.
They worked on this in pregame, and here's a steal by the Friars. Providence, Ricky Pitino had his team out here at 4:30 this afternoon, running through the things they wanted to do against the pressure.
Well, that time Georgetown handled it well, got it in, and then they got him from behind. And Delray Brooks is very good at that, and Providence works hard on that.
Brooks, Donovan, Lewis, they're all three-point marksmen, and they're all beyond three-point range here.
Well, they're not going to get inside it too much. They just span out on that perimeter.
Brooks looking for help. Georgetown, tremendous defense. 12 on the shot clock. 3:15 in the game. Donovan gets Smith in the air, and he trips over Smith's feet. 2-on-1 fast break. Make it a 3-on-1. Reggie Williams, shot is blocked by Steve Wright. What a play.
Great play by Steve Wright. Really good dish off by Dwayne Bryant. And Steve Wright, with a heck of an effort, came 75 feet on this. All right, here's the 2-on-1. Charles Smith, good dish off. There's Reggie. Thinks he's got it. Steve Wright, hustling the lane, gets it.
Reggie Williams triggers the inbounds to Jonathan Edwards. Perry McDonald, Bobby Winston, and Charles Smith round out the 5 for Georgetown. Delray Brooks, Billy Donovan, Pop Lewis, Steve Wright, and Dave Kipfer for Providence.
And Thompson throwing the four-corner bait out again, and the chess match continues. And now Providence is making a declaration. Delray Brooks is going to play Reggie Williams man-to-man, and they'll try to go boxing one on this trip. Make somebody other than Reggie put it up.
Perry McDonald setting what looks to be a screen on the right side of the lane. 15 on the shot clock coming up, as you can see it. Bobby Winston with the ball.
That somebody could be Perry McDonald. They like to go to him inside. Shot clock at 7.
Charles Smith down the line. He puts up a prayer, and it gets answered.
Oh, my, what a shot. That shot clock was at 2 seconds when that was put up. Gutty move by Charles Smith.
2:10 remaining in the game, or at least until regulation. Georgetown is up by 3.
What do you think Providence is looking for here?
Pop Lewis ties the game. We are tied at 76 with 1:56 remaining.
Now you have to start looking at the timeout board. 1 left for Providence, 2 for Georgetown. Boxing 1 defense on Reggie Williams. They want to make someone else put it up, Howard. Last time Charles Smith did and made it with 2 seconds on the shot clock.
They're using McDonald as the screen. Minute and 30 to play. Williams on the turnaround is short. McDonald, though, with the rebound. Hit stripped away by Kipfer, but he got the foul. Kipfer says, no foul. But Jem Howell says, oh, yes, foul.
And then Kipper patted him on the back and said, okay, you win.
Minute and 25 to play, and Perry McDonald will go to the free throw line for 2. A 70% shooter. He has had 14 points tonight.
The three-pointer has brought the Friars back once again. And it brought Georgetown back with Reggie earlier.
Perry McDonald has been to the line quite often tonight. Started out slowly. He has come back and been more proficient in the second half from the line. It's a 1-point lead. for Georgetown with 1:25 to play. Looked to me like he threw that up a little bit extra hard, looking for maybe a rebound.
Now we'll see whether Pitino wants the timeout or wants to keep playing. It looks like he's going to keep going. Georgetown a 1-3-1 zone. They'll extend it and match up now. Providence can get the lead with either the 2 or the 3, Howard, but Georgetown's going to get it back one more time at least.
Brooks is really being worked over by McDonald, playing excellent defense. 20 on the shot clock. 55 to go in the game.
Steve Wright's been wide open a couple of times on the baseline. The pressure outside's been enough that they haven't been able to find him. 10 seconds.
Lead. Here's Donovan. Right side. Pop Lewis. 3-pointer. Good. Pop Lewis, 11 points in the game. The Friars are up by 2 with 39 seconds to play. Smith doesn't get it to go. Edwards with the rebound. It's stripped out of his hands, but a foul is going to be called.
And Thompson was up on the sideline trying to get a timeout, but by then the ball had gone inside to Charles Smith. He'd squeezed it up, and Edwards goes to the glass. And now the Hoyas with a chance to tie. But if they do, the Friars will have the last gun.
Steve Wright fouls out of the game. Second Friar to foul out. Yastik Duda was the other one. And now Pitino makes the substitution. Marty Conlon will check in, the freshman from Bronxville, New York. Meanwhile, Jonathan Edwards, who's not a good free throw shooter. Jonathan Edwards on the season, Dave, is 1 for 5 from the free throw line. We have 30 seconds remaining in regulation. We may go beyond regulation tonight. Providence is up by 2, but Edwards can tie it.
1-1. Everybody in this place is on their feet.
Won't say a word, let the action speak. We are tied at 79 with 30 seconds remaining, and Mark Tillman has come into the game, number 20. His left thumb is bandaged. We don't know the extent of his injury, but he's in the game. And there's a break in the action. 30 seconds to play. We are all even at 79. The story is in front of you on the graphic. We are tied at 79. There's 30 seconds remaining in the second half. Notice I didn't say in the game because it may go beyond.
Both teams are over the limit. Both teams have 1 timeout remaining. This timeout that we're coming out of now was called by Georgetown. John Thompson wanting to set the defense. Rick Pitino setting the offense, but both of them looking beyond what's going to happen next. What will Georgetown do here? I'd say they would probably be showing the 1-3-1 match. That's been their bread and butter for most of this half. And Providence, they wouldn't be surprised me to see them go off that high 2-on-2 again.
Thompson, who has an economics major at Providence, has a master's degree in guidance and counseling, and he has counseled his players, and he has guided them to this point.
And I was wrong. The Hoyas are coming out and going man-to-man.
Georgetown has beaten Providence 11 straight times, and everybody's on their feet at the Providence Civic Center. There's the time remaining in the right-hand corner.
4 corners. They've got to be careful. The 5-second count now. Closely guarded 5 seconds will be a turnover and give the ball to the defense.
Donovan with 10. Kipfer with 9. Donovan with the ball with 6. With 5. Right side. Pop Lewis. 1 second remaining. Pop Lewis hits the field goal. He hit his last 3 in a row.
And I think it's a three-pointer. Three-pointer, they just gave the sign.
He's hit 3 three-pointers in a row, Dave. Here's a guy that was out of the game the first half.
And it was the exact same play that the earlier shot by Pop Lewis in the corner. They set a strong 2-on-2 for Donovan at the high post. You see it here. Donovan comes off and he draws the help over, punches it in the corner. Lewis straddling over behind the three-point line, and bango. 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and those are big ones.
From Pop Lewis's perspective, Spalding and Cotton go hand in hand. He's hit 3 long-range bombs. in a row. And the crowd at the Civic Center is absolutely wild. The player of the game, each and every telecast, the Plymouth player of the game, Reggie Williams. Nobody in the building, although Pop has hit 3 straight. Reggie scored 33 tonight, 25 in the second half to bring Georgetown back from 8 down.
Well, Reggie's been unbelievable, and I know Pop Lewis will get some enthusiasm, but I'll cast a minority vote with our crew for David Kipper. I thought David Kipper was just magnificent. Okay, 1 second on the clock. Georgetown needs 3 points, not 2. So the old play of throw it at the backboard won't work.
Got a question for you. If you're Providence, do you intentionally foul?
I do, yes.
Most they can get 2.
Yep. Georgetown did that to DePaul on Sunday with a 3-point lead.
Do you let them in? I say, they got to be going down the length of the floor, but that won't get it. They've got to get a 3-point shot. Anything beyond the 3-point range can tie it. But 1 second remaining, and actually maybe less than that.
Talk about a mark of respect. They got 2 people on Reggie Williams.
Bobby Winston to inbound. Jackson, did he get the shot away? No good. Providence beats Georgetown 82-79, and look at pandemonium at center court.
And Thompson and Patino with their arms around each other. They got into a little bit of a hassle in the second half, but they knew darn well they were both part of a heck of a game tonight.
Biggest win for Providence, certainly in the last decade, since your club beat North Carolina in the mid-70s.
I would think so. And this crowd, I mean, they are standing to a man. The student body's on the court. Patino and Carlton Screen hugging each other.
Rick Pitino goes off the floor with his biggest win without a question of a doubt. In a year and a half, he's been coaching at Providence.
But put the win in perspective as well. It takes Patino to 5-2, sole possession of second place in the Big East, and 15-3 overall with St. John's looming up on Saturday.
Pop Lewis hit 3 in a row, including the winner. Final score, Providence 82, Georgetown 79. We'll come back in just a moment. While Reggie Williams is our player of the game with 33 points, Pop Lewis is the man of the hour. The Providence Friars, perhaps their biggest win in the last decade here in Providence, Rhode Island. They beat Georgetown 82-79. Along with Dave Gavitt, this is Howard David again, the final score. Providence 82, Georgetown 79. The preceding has been a Big East Conference Television Network production.